Hey guys, I'm out here doing some picking up in the shop, trying to get cleaned up a little bit. If you see my last video, you understand. Trying to assess everything. But some news came out today. We need to talk about it.
I'd say he's a nut job.
Hot Rod Power Tour. It's that time of year again. Well, today, some news came out. Not down the official channels, but if you know, then you know that anybody that has a platinum uh, pass, the next year they get kind of an early invite. Well, somebody got the early invite and published the information on social media, and it has been a buzz today with it. Now, again, the official word has not came out yet from the website and all, but we can pretty much say this is probably going to be it because, again, the platinum guys do get the early information. So, got it wrote down here. So the dates for 2024 Hot Rod Power Tour, tentatively, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I hate to say it, but people could fake an email just to get some buzz going. But I don't know why they would. This route seems legit, and I'll tell you about that in a second. Starts June the 10th in Bowling Green, Kentucky. That's actually a pretty decent facility. June 11th, the next day, we're going to Nashville Speedway. Nashville Speedway, we went there in 2022, 22, I believe it was. A little warm that year, but actually it was a very nice facility. June the 12th, they're going to Louisville, Kentucky. June the 13th, we'll shoot north to Ohio. We're actually going to, I believe I pronounced this right, Hebron, Ohio, National Trails Raceway. I'm kind of excited about that one because I've wanted to go to National Trails for a while. Of course, I won't be taking a race car, but I wanted to go to National Trails for a while, so this gives me a chance to tick one off the old list there of tracks that I wanted to go to. And then June 14th, it will end in at the Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis, Indiana. So there you go. Bowling Green, Nashville, Louisville, Hebron, Ohio, and in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's Power Tour 2024. Start making your plans. Now let's talk about for the guys that have not been or are on the fence about going. The first year we went, we were kind of out and back. Actually, we talked about going one year and decided, no, this ain't for us, so we didn't go. The following year, like, I don't know, but we finally went. And after we went that first time, we've been hooked. Yes, it is thousands of miles, depending on where you start from, possibly thousands of miles. We're in South Carolina, so we'll go all the way from Indiana and back to South Carolina. Thousands for us. And you're driving, I say you're driving a classic car, but don't let nobody fool you. This is open to anything you want to take. It doesn't matter what it is. They are some people who will give you the stink eye if you drive a new car, but let them put their eye back in their head. They'll be fine. They'll get over it. Drive whatever you want to drive. But it is the world's largest rolling car show. And every year there's people that complain about the route, but every year people have a lot of fun. And you go into it when you get out what you put into it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I have not been disappointed in one yet. I absolutely love Power Tour. There has been some things in the past that you go, it didn't really make any sense, but it always works out. Like, for instance, this year, it's always started where it ended the year before. So in theory, it should have started in Bristol this year. But here's some looking into it. Here's some information. And I was a bit skeptical at first because I said, no, that can't be the right route. It should start in Bristol. But look into it. Bristol has an NHRA event going on that weekend. And they tentatively are going to use that June 10th day is like a rain check day in case there's something happens that weekend. They've got that day to, so they're not going to sacrifice an NHRA event to cater to Power Tour. I mean, that's just business. So this is the way it works out. Now, let's talk about what you may or may not need. There's people out there that will pack everything, including the kitchen sink, and bring with them. And there's people out there that don't pack anything. And if I'm honest, neither one of them's wrong. The first year we went, we took a truck with us, and we literally packed everything we could think of in that truck. When I say everything, we had all the tools, we had parts, we had sleeping stuff, we had food, drinks. We could have survived out of that truck for probably a month and been okay. And with the exception of the food, didn't really touch anything in the back of that truck. There's the times that we went out there and hung out in the back of it just so we felt like we was using some of the stuff we took. You know what I mean? So fast forward last year, 2023, yes, last year, we took the Cougar. I just took a small little case with tools. I took a little box with some wiring connectors in it, and a couple of spare parts. I took a spare belt. I took an extra fuel filter, and I had another alternator, but it wasn't planned on taking. I had actually changed the alternator the day we was going to leave because the one that was in it, the bearing was making a noise. The plan was to run the other one back to the parts store and get my core, and I didn't, so it ended up in the trunk, which ended up being a good thing because the new alternator made it about an hour down the road and took a dump on me, and we ended up putting the old alternator back on it. But that year, last year, we were plagued with some problems. We actually had a pickup in the distributor go out, and there was a couple of issues we had along the route, and of course, we did not have those parts with us. Here is the beautiful thing about Power Tour. We're dead on the side of the road. We don't sit there 5 minutes. Somebody shows up. Now, we were lucky enough of location-wise of where we quit. We quit just out. We started having problems just outside of, I want to say Atlanta Motor Speedway. We wasn't far from there when we started having issues. Anyway, somebody stopped. Multiple people stopped. And one nice young man gave us a ride to Summit. It was literally 15 minutes from where we broke down. Went into Summit, grabbed a new distributor. He gave us a ride back. Helped us install it, sit there with us while we timed the car, made sure the car was running great. I mean, what I'm saying is you don't have to worry about parts and tools as much because there's going to be thousands of people there. And people are going to want to stop and help. So you don't really have to worry about the parts and stuff. I wanted to give you some advice on some things you may want to consider. It would be this. It's summertime. This takes place in June. It has the potential to be hot in June. So if I was going to advise you to do anything, it would be to maintenance your cooling system before you go on a road trip. It would be honestly what I would do personally. I would go through my cooling system, make sure it was good. At least, in my opinion, you do it however you want to. I would make sure my cooling system was up to snuff about 30 days in advance. And the way I would do that is I'd get everything the way I wanted it, and I would literally drive the wheels off this car. I would find places where I knew I would get jammed up in traffic. I would find places where I knew there was long straightaways and I had to build up some speed. I would go in places where there was a lot of stop and goes. I would put the car through the paces just to make sure the cooling system is up to snuff. That is, generally speaking, that is what hurts the most people on Power Tour. If you've never been, understand that these venues, a lot of them have one way in and one way out. So when everybody shows up at the same time, it's going to be a long line. There's thousands of people. So you're going to be sitting in traffic for a while. Make sure your cooling system can handle that. I see more failures at the gate getting into the venue than I do along the road. With that being said, one side note is don't try to be the first guy to the venue. The venue's there all day. It ain't going nowhere. There'll be cars there all day, coming and going all day. You don't have to be the first guy there. Generally speaking, there is a big line right at the beginning of the day for the first couple of hours. After that, the line starts dwindling down smaller and smaller. And quite honestly, if you hit there about the middle of the day, most of the time you drive straight in. You don't even stop. Now, I'll say that, and everybody else I do that. And then, of course, then there goes all that planning too. So, honestly, folks, the cars aren't the only things that run hot. We do too. 2022, I think, the year we went from Memphis to Nashville to Atlanta, I think it was. There may have been a stop in between there. I can't remember. But that year was one of the hottest years. I mean, it was probably one of the hottest years Power Tour. I don't know. I ain't been on all of them. But it was one of the hottest years that I can remember just in general. When we hit Memphis, I think it was 110 degrees. Nashville was 102, 103. I seen a lot of people having to get medical attention at the venues because they overheated themselves. So think about cooling for your car. Think about cooling for you as well. Carry you, they make those little towels that you can soak in water and put over your neck. Those things are great. Don't worry about how you look. Get you one of them big old sombrero hats and put on there and shade yourself with it. Don't worry about it. Trust me when I say you won't be the only person out there with one on. See them every year. Throw a cooler in your car with some waters in it. Last year, we ended up giving out waters to people out in the parking lot because, you could tell they was a little hot. And yes, there's places you can get some there, but like everything else, there's going to be a little bit of a line there. So take you some water with you. Take care of yourself. Look after yourself. I know it's one of those things that nobody likes to talk about, but dehydration can be a real thing on Power Tour, especially since you're trying to get from one venue to another and you're putting the miles on and you're concentrating your focus. So you're in the car and you're not really thinking about it. And then you get out at the venues and it might be 100 degrees. I mean, it's going to be in June. You know what I'm saying? Although we are going north, so I'm not as familiar with their temperatures up north, but I'd say it's going to be warmer than it would in December. So think about that. Get you some water. It's not going to hurt you. Put a little cooler in your car. Throw some waters in there. If you don't have a cooler, get you a 5-gallon bucket from Harbor Freight. They're like $4 or $5. Dump your little ice in that 5-gallon bucket. Throw you some waters in there. Pop the lid on her. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to spend a lot of money. Think about yourself. Take care of yourself. Your health is kind of important to people. So cooling for your cars and cooling for you. That's the two most important things. The two most important things that you will encounter on Power Tour. With that being said, go into Power Tour with an open mind. Your mindset should be, I'm going into this to have fun. I'm going into this to enjoy it. And if you've never been, when you get to the venues, there'll be music there. There'll be vendors from all different manufacturers there. Summit's always there. I think Auto Metal Direct's usually there. Molly's there. There'll be a lot of vendors there. DEI has been there the last couple of years. Who knows? But there'll be a bunch of vendors. Can't talk. There'll be a bunch of vendors there. You get to meet the people face to face that you buy your parts from. That's pretty cool to me. There'll be a lot of folks there, and some of those folks, you greeting them with a smile and helping them out of a situation may be the best thing that's happened to them in a long time. So keep that in mind. But the most important thing is Don't talk yourself into saying, I don't think my car can make it, or you know, gas mileage, or or I've never driven this car this far. Don't let those things get in your mind. What you need to do is pack you a suitcase, throw you a couple cooling towels in your seat, throw you some bottled waters in there. Make sure your cooling system's good. And if you want to, go by Lowe's or somebody and get you a little Craftsman toolbox with like a 120-piece socket set or something. Throw in the car. Grab you a couple extra belts. Throw in the car because belts could break. Maybe a couple hoses. Maybe even some hose clamps. I don't know. What's up to you? And just go. Just go. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It's fine. It'll all work. Power Tour is the ultimate hot rod vacation, and that's how you should be treating it. You should be treating it like, I'm getting out here in my old hot rod and I'm going cruising. We're going to see some small towns. We're going to cruise some back roads. We're going to see places we ain't never seen before. We're going to stop in little shops we ain't never seen before. And eventually we're going to amble on out to the venue. We're going to walk around and we're going to say howdy to a few of the people we buy parts from. We're going to stop by and maybe see a few new parts. You know what? You know what? You know what? Maybe we'll even eat at some local restaurants and experience some local foods that we otherwise wouldn't have had the chance to eat. That's actually one of my favorite parts of Power Tour. Last year we made a promise to ourselves, and sometimes you can't help it. I understand you get in a spot where you can't do anything else, but last year we made a promise to ourselves: no chain restaurants, only local dives was we going to eat at. Sometimes it's a gamble. Sometimes you get some of the best food you'll ever eat, and sometimes you get some food that makes you wish you hadn't ever seen that place. But enjoy it. You know what? The Lord blessed you with the ability to be able to go do that, so go do it. I hope to see you out on Power Tour, and if you do, stop by and say hello. This year, we're going to be taking our 68 wagon. I got to do a few little things to it. I daily drive it some, and well, I took it on drag week, so it's already been on a road trip, but she needs a few comfort items. And we're going to get into it, and we're going to try to make it a little more comfortable for a road trip. But we'll be in our 68 wagon. Drop down in the comments what you plan on taking. I hope to see you out there. Let me know. If you drop down in the little comments and tell me what you're driving, I'll be looking for you. I'll stop by and tell you howdy. You stop by and say, hey, seen your ugly face on old YouTube there. Thought I'd say, hey, let you know I watch you. That would mean a lot to me. Also, subscribing, thumbs up, comments, all that means a lot to me too. But what I'm telling you is get out there and have fun. This is a short video, but it's mainly just to let you know Power Tour 2024, we're coming again. We're taking the wagon this year. This year, we've actually planned on doing a little extended vacation. I think we're going to do Power Tour, and since it ends where it ends, we may spend an extra week up north, just cruising the back roads. My wife likes covered bridges. Maybe we'll take the wagon and take a few shots out there around the covered bridges. What I'm telling you, treat it as a vacation. Just get out there. It's a hot rod vacation. Enjoy it. Don't focus on the few minutes you get stuck in traffic. Don't focus on the few minutes you had to wait in line to get something to eat or something to drink or punchy little card or none of that. Focus on the good stuff. You and your buddy or your wife or your girlfriend or maybe your third cousin dog's walker, whatever. You and your co-pilot's what I'm saying. You and your co-pilot, open road, seeing America's back roads. You're cruising through all the little small towns you never heard of. You're seeing restaurants and buildings you never seen before. There's a lot of cool old buildings out there that you ain't seen, and I'm telling you they're cool. And I like just stopping and taking a picture of my car with them too. Make it what you can, but enjoy it. Power Tour is something special, and it's been around for a long time, but let's face it, the way the old world's changing, we don't know how much longer it's going to be around. So get out there and enjoy it. You will not regret Power Tour. Even if you just make a couple of venue stops, kind of dip your toes in the water, you'll enjoy it. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. I hope the Lord blesses you today more than He did yesterday. And I hope to see you on Power Tour. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Let me know what you're taking. We'll see you on the next one.
I'd say he's a nut job.